Okay, from about here up, all the steel work is done. The stupid cross member, I had to cut it in half to put it back together anyway, so I should have just cut it there and not worried about there's like huck bolts and crap to bolt into the aluminum. Could have just left that, cut it. Now I had to cut it, weld it, and deal with those bolts, so that's whatever. So from there up, steel work done. Next is under the aluminum. Gotta weld the other side of this, weld this properly, clean that up. I gotta cut these off. Cut the weld off here and here. Get in and fix this, take those bolts out, fix that, make that look nice, bolt it back together. This one too. And then there's some real boogery welds and cracks and stuff, so I'm gonna get all this looking nice. Take those off, fix those repairs, bolts back in, get all this looking nice, not so haggard. And then, so that's from the landing gear up. And then from the landing gear back, I'm ahead of the frame, there's cracks on both sides. I gotta gouge out and weld. I gotta take this winch off and fix that. There's aluminum pipe cross members underneath. Pretty well every one needs something done to it. And in the back, there's a little pipe cross member about here. It's all rotted out that I got to replace. And then there's 4 areas back here and cross members by the airbags I got to repair. So yeah, and then I got to go around and get some little bolts and the winches and just diddly stuff and put the wood back on. So that's, in a nutshell, what's left on this old girl. So might be another video, might be this video, who knows. Oh yes, and then when I have the extension cables on my spool gun, I gotta go around the rail, and there's a bunch of little stuff like that going on, and underneath where the cross members go, there's some of these cracked. See? Cracked. That's gonna suck. See those drain holes that I reopened back up? Before there was holes in the side, I think in the back, and in all the tube cross members. So I think it was supposed to be made so it was kind of open, so you kind of spray water in there or whatever and kind of keep this clean. But what they did was, they changed the special plate. I don't think they even pulled the top off. They came right from the bottom, cut around the pin, and cut the pin right out and got in there and cut the bracing out and dropped the pin. Then you just stuck a plate up underneath, welded it on and plug welded it. But all this stuff in here was rotten, and they didn't replace any bracing in there. So this was just like a big old sponge. And then what also happened was they got plugged, so this filled with dirt and moisture. Either rotted then or after, but anyways. So the pin, that's got some warranty, so the pin's been there for a while, but anyways. So because of their quick, brilliant repair, this was all moving, right, and this plate was working. As telling before, this plate was flexing, and then it cracked it at the end of the welds there. So if they would have pulled the top off and restructured it from the start when they changed that pin, none of this would have happened, and this frame would have never broke. So, but I guess the guy who got it done and owned the trailer, he made out good because it lasted him his lifetime. And he sold it, and then the poor fellow that bought it after got stuck with the repair bill. So yeah, those little triangle tab, that little thing that was up about that far, and it cracked right where the weld terminated, so I cut it back. And yeah, straight argon for my aluminum welding for my spool gun, or you can TIG with it too. C25 for MIG wire and dual shield flux core, oxyacetylene. Then my propane for my Tiger torch. To my old compressor, and of course, old Big Blue. It's a pretty involved job. Dang near used every piece of equipment in my truck. My welding machine, my air compressor, all my gases, my aluminum spool gun, stick welding, my suitcase welder, oxyacetylene, my gouger. You don't need all those different things to do a job like this, but it sure makes things a lot better. So the way this pin was done, right, they got up in there and they cut around, and they hogged all that out and got and cut the bracing out. And they took a whole separate plate. See, a whole separate plate. There's 2 plates thick there. It's the original plate. They took a whole separate plate and just stuck it in there and plug welded it in these holes. And didn't add to any bracing. So on top, the bracing was cut around the pin and there's nothing added to it. So that was just there. I'm so surprised that this plate didn't crack around here. Like, it blows my mind that that plate didn't crack. So on top, the pin here, there's no bracing around it. The pin was just free floating. And that, oh, it ticks me off. That's just a half-ass patch job. Like, that's, people that do stuff like that pisses me off. Like, that's just, no, like, I wouldn't even, if someone wanted me to do that, I would say no. And if someone said, hey, well, some guy down the road can change the plate for this much money, why are you gonna charge me this much? I'd say, go to him then, because it's like, how could you do that and not brace it and not know what's existing on top? Like, you gotta tear it apart from the top down and check it out and do it. Like, man, if my name's on something, it's getting done the right way, or it's not getting done at all. That's all I can say about that. See, if I wasn't dumb enough to agree to rebuild this trailer, it was actually going to scrap. Buddy was hauling to the scrapyard before I showed up and said, whoa, I'll rebuild it. It's because of someone's negligence doing a crappy patch job on the pin years back, almost caused this trailer to go to the scrapyard. Dang. Amateurs, boys. Whew. Dang. Can't handle these guys. This one back on. Yeah, looking a little better, eh? A little better than that junk that was on there. Big old pile of welds in there. Yeah, boy. How much more awesome that looks. There we go. It's a little better than that big gooby gob that was there. Nothing really wrong with this weld, but I feel as if I want to do something a bit better. There we go, just dress her up a bit. A little weld in the crater on top, add a bit of weld there. A little weld in a couple of the little undercut spots, and wire wheeled it. Yeah, it's, you know, it just looks a bit better. There, it's a little better. Little giant welds in there. Nice, beautiful weld there. Something cleaned up. And that's presentable. One of the first things I noticed in this trailer when I walked up to it is the big gobby welds in the front. This made it look so bad. Now it looks wonderful. Once that dulls down, it's gonna look factory. Awesome. Yeah, that was that big crack there. I just cleaned it up like that. Took a big gobber weld up the inside where we couldn't really get in to clean it. So yeah, I'll be fine. Let's put the winch on and we can drill the hole after. So I've got 4 areas to fix. It's cracked around. It's cracked around and then in there, and then up in the front one there's 4 spots. Grind it out, probably 60-10 root, maybe 70-18 on top, grind it flat, and then make a little repad thing that welds into the frame and weld it. So yeah, it ain't pretty because it don't have to be. Ground at the welds, 60-10 them, ground them flat. Then put a patch on to the 60-10 blast, 70-18, the vert in the back. So now, yeah, man, the airbag will sit on that, right? The weight will take the repad will take the weight of the airbag, and then it's 70-18 into there. So no matter how rotten this gets, it should still just be good to go. Oh, man, this is not fun. Okay, other side, just a bit of a wider patch. This welded underneath. Same deal all around. Oh, this one's gonna be a bummer. What's the rotten. This one's gonna be a bugger to reach because there's all this jazz in the way. It's gonna be not cool. I'll get her. You know, something like that. I notched that one, and the other ones I didn't notch them like that. I let them set up higher and just welds underneath. Since these are so rotten on the bottom, I notched them so I can just weld against that plate. Don't weld here. Don't weld there across the frame. That can open you up to the chance of cracking that frame. Don't weld right there on frame. Don't do it. So just there, yep, and the vert and all around. Yep, looks easy, but pretty jammed in here. Not cool. And my light that I had, the battery died, so I'm just kind of flying in the dark. Yeah, well, you know. Yep, better than it was. The cracks are welded up, grind it down, and then rotten spots underneath, I welded them all up. There's no big holes. And just, yeah, put the last two plates on. And we're done back here. And that's that. On to the next thing. Alright, now I gotta replace this old girl with this new girl. Oh, it was there right there. So, that's it. Alright, installed. Wow. Two little buggers there. Let's see if that crack travels down this way a bit. Weld that up on one side or the other, and then and back gouge and weld the other side. Just like that on both sides. So that's the next step. Alright, well there's Alright, well there's the inside. Oh, see there. There's the inside. There's the old back gouge. Yeah, there's the old back gouge. I a nice big fat weld on the inside, so I had something to gouge into. Roll that up, and that'll be this side. And I found more work on this trailer. That's, yeah, a few of those like that. So that's gonna add an extra day to this job, unfortunately. Ta-da! Yeah. So a 3-passer in there. Big old weave on the inside. Alright. Alright. Boss of a 60-10 pass, and then 2 passes on each side of it of 70-18. Oh, it's not there. And then up around there. And I'll gouge in what I can from the other side. Little back gouge. I'll load that up. Ta-da! There's that. So, okay. On to the next step, which is those buggers. Alright, I got my super duper homemade spool gun extension apparatus here. Got this cable that I salvaged out of an old shed at an oil field company that they were cleaning out once. There's my my gas hose for my suitcase, and I made this super duper adapter device in the field one time. Actually at that power plant, and I had to go do that big crazy aluminum weld. And, I had to build that day, so I had enough hose to get in there. So those are 2 quick connect ends, quick connect ends jammed in with some clamps. So there you go. Got the extension on. Just gonna head in. Got every single one of them cross members. There's 5, so there'd be 10 welds. Just gotta grind the crap and put a weld on each one, all the way down. I was hoping to have this done today, the welding, and then realize those friggin' winches that have tore out. So things get a little overwhelming at times. Yeah, that action. So this box has to come off. See where these have to come off. Whew, I just gotta take a deep breath and stand back and just dig deep. Dig deep, man, and stay calm and just man up and get it done, I guess. Ooh, someone was having a downhand spool gun extreme session here. Hopefully the grinder fits in easy to these areas and I can get them done quickly, because every single one of them needs to be done. I couldn't quite get the grinder in at the bottom, but close enough. We'll get some welds on. Big old goopy globber here. It was kind of cracked outside the weld. It's like the plate, so I just ground it down, and you can't get to the bottom, so I just plowed a big old weave on it to encompass all the crack. And yeah, so just big old goopers. But the only real way to fix this is to make all new bars and put them in, so whatever. Okay, that crossmember task done. Now I'm just gonna go around and fix up some of this stuff. I don't know how much there is. Just gonna do a good once around, and then I'm gonna drop this toolbox down, and I gotta fix. There's 4 of them that I got it fixed. So yeah. Woo. Toolbox off. customer's going to walk in and be like, what the heck is he doing? It's more tore apart now than it was before. Look at that. Stanky. Yeah, so there's that to contend with. These 4 buggers here, I just took the torch and torched the bolts off. See? See the chunk of aluminum just tore right out. I'm just going to clean it up and jam these buggers in like that. Weld them back up all 4 corners. Alright, so that looks pretty reasonable. Do that 3 more times. I might just have to hammer this and adjust the angle of this a bit so it lines up. Just because it's down a bit lower, but I'll get it to go. Just trying to get a few more years out of this old trailer, so no sense trying to reinvent the wheel. Well, there we go. So all 4 of them done. Didn't take too long, but oh gosh, I got a mess. Look at this. Everything. Anyways, it's Saturday afternoon and it's Halloween. So I am out of here. You can't be working on Halloween, that's crazy. So if I duct tape from between for a barrier between the aluminum and the steel, because aluminum and steel corrodes big time. But that's that. That's way better. I wish it was in the budget to go around to every winch and do this too. You know, because some of them are kind of bent and getting iffy. Who knows what other ones are ready to crack? But yeah, I wish it was in the budget to go around and beef up every single one, but it's not. It's an old trailer and a bed job, so do what I can. That looks good though. Here's a little something. When these ones aren't bad because they're bolt on, but look, they're supposed to be like this. So if you have that flipped over, and it's happened before that I've welded them on, and then after I was like, ah, oh. I had to take the gouger and gouge that weld, pull the pin, flip it, and weld it back. So I got to unbolt this one again and flip it. But not too big of a deal. Good thing I caught it. Looks like I got some competition. That truck belongs to an old boy. I used to see him when I worked in this area all the time. He was always around. I seen him at Tim Hortons, hanging out all the time. He talked to me one time. He used to scowl at me. I think he was getting a little angry. Probably thought I was cutting in on his work, being his competition. But truth be told, he can have this work. This stuff's garbage. Good to see the old boy around. I figured he retired or something, but he's still going. Look at that truck. That's wild. They took the and cut the back out of it, cut the back door off it, and built a frame. Then built a big ramp, and then on top, where's my finger? On top right there, you see on top in the center, they got a winch on it. So there's no back door, nothing. There's a big long ramp, winches down, and they fold the little extensions down. They must drive cars up it or something. So they must have stretched the frame out in the back, put this big long box on her, cut the back off, built a frame, built that ramp. It's hard to see from here, but she's a wild setup. It's a big 4-door, like automatic international unit. Alright, got all the cross members that were cracked, welded up both sides. It was not cool, but I'm working on getting the decking screwed down. But I'm gonna have to screw it down and then take it back off again because the mechanic's not done doing his wiring, so that's cool. So the mechanic's not done underneath doing his wire thing, so the two outside ones I pre-drilled and screwed down. And this center section I pre-drilled and screwed it all down, and now I lifted all the screws, took all the screws out, so now I'm going to take the boards, set them in order so I don't have to come back. The mechanic can just set the boards in and screw them down. Everything's already done for him, so hopefully that's good enough so I don't have to come back. All right. All right, I'm gonna blow this off, do a little bit more painting, and get all my tools wrapped up, put back on my truck, sweep the floor, get that dirt and everything into the dumpster somehow, load up that steel, and I am out of here. Wow, screw this job. Whew. Yeah. A little pin poking through. There she is. Like it never happened. Patches are in there. I got the airbags back and everything all hooked up again. Oh yeah. Bye trailer, I love you. I hope I never see you again.